There we go.
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
Don't know, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, everybody. Me, the macho. Savage, you're listening to Mike Trash, TrashTalkingRadio.com. The best in the business. Say it, the macho.
Wrestling fans throughout Radio Land, listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com. Every Tuesday from 7 to 10 o'clock. You hear guys like myself, the you gammon guys, come on. And that's my story.
The Trash Talking Radio Show from 7 to whenever we get done is by using the screwdriver. Track, roast, beef, this explosion, the other half of the rock and wrestling connection. That's the trashy one and the loony one together forever.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ivan Kola. I'm here to tell you about Mike Talking Trash. The Trash, 7 to 10. Tuesday night, you got to listen in. It's the best around, the best in town. Hey, this is the animal. One half of the world is taking the road when we do them. If you know what's good, you're listening to Trash Talking Radio or else.
Everybody, you're watching Trash Talking Radio. This is Hulk Hogan. Hulk, what do you got to say about Trash Talking Radio? I gotta say that I just love Trash Talking Radio. You're not a teacher, dude. This is my show, and you better watch just what you're gonna do when Hulk Hogan's brand new Trash Talking Radio runs wild on you.
This is the Vital Idol, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on TrashTalkingRadio.com. And remember this, when the Vital Idol tells you, it's got to be true. And when it's on the internet, it's got to be real. It's Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. I am the top of pop, the king of swing, the international rock star, way above par, the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, the Vital Idol, Classy Mike Trash, and thank you very much. It is Trash Talking Radio. It is Tuesday night. It is not Tuesday night. It is Thursday. That's a change for me because I'm used to Tuesdays. I'm the king of Tuesday night, but now we're invading Thursdays now. So we're gonna have a rare show here on Thursday. I don't usually do Thursdays. That's my day off. So you must be really special that I'm doing this on my day off. If I have a day, I don't know. I may not have a day off. It's hard to say. I do want to make one. I said this before, and I screwed up the whole thing when I said I got to make one adjustment. But this one adjustment is really an easy adjustment. I just want to move you down just a hair. You're just a hair high, and I can move you down. I think. Let's see. How's this working? Can I do that? Probably not. Probably not. It's not going to be as easy as it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be easy. You know, they give us these tools, and it just never works that way. I don't know. Anyway, we can just It's just going to annoy me a little bit. It's not going to change the interview and everything. So first off, I want to talk. Introduce yourself to me. Tell me a little bit of just basic information about you. What?
So my name is Frank Chacon,
Okay.
and I'm involved in a few things. First, I'm in the restaurant business, so
Okay.
I'm a waiter. I've been to culinary school. I worked as a cook. I worked at a few restaurants, but I'm also a preacher at the same time.
And we'll get to that later, a little bit later, because I find that really fascinating. Your story is really good. Tell me a little bit about where you start. Let's talk about your childhood a little bit.
So my childhood, I mean, I was always very adventurous. I've always liked adrenaline. I always lived over the edge. So
Okay.
my parents started me out at riding horses since I was 3.
Okay.
And when I was 11, I started horse racing.
Horse racing.
Horse
That's
racing,
at
yeah.
11. At 11, were you doing it professionally?
Yep. Mhm.
How do you get to do
Like-
that at 11?
Well, it was in El Salvador, so
Okay. Yeah,
it
different.
wasn't here in the U.S. So
No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How'd you get? Okay, let's back up a little bit. When did you go to El Salvador? Because you're from New York.
Yeah, so my parents were born there, so every summer I would go there since I was a kid.
Okay.
Every summer they would always take me. I would stay actually 3. So my summer vacation, I would always go there. Like it would be like the day after school ended.
Okay.
My flight was booked. And then we would come back probably like a week before school started. So throughout that whole summer, horse racing, that's where the season would begin. And yeah,
The closest I got to horse racing was betting.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I did bet a few times.
But how tall are you?
So right now I'm 5'7", but
Oh, when
thing
you
is,
were
when I was
11, though. Okay, yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So,
Yeah.
how did you get involved in horse racing at 11, though? I mean, how don't they have any laws as to what you're allowed to do?
No, not at all. It's over there in El Salvador. It's like the thing is, you have to be as light as you can.
Oh, okay. Well, then I would have never made it because I was a big boy.
Yeah, so I mean, let's say you have to be 115 or less.
Okay.
And I stopped racing when I was, I think at 19,
Okay.
because even when I stopped racing at 19, I was still over 119. I mean 115.
Jeez,
So my dad
I can't even imagine that weight. I mean, I've always been a big guy.
Yeah.
Even in high school, I was like, in high school, I was probably 300. So,
Oh wow.
and at one time I was 468 pounds.
Oh wow.
I'm
Well, that's good enough.
I'm now
You look
232.
good now.
Yeah,
You look
I
good now.
went through a lot of crap to get to this level, but anyway, so were you good at it? Were you winning?
So yeah, my dad had very good horses. So obviously the horses have a lot to do with it, but also the jockey.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was my horse. Like I raced a few horses, and there were people that would also hire me to race their horses, at some events.
Okay.
But the thing is, my dad's one of my horses. It's something that he was my favorite. He was always the one that I would always cling to every time. Like every time, I had to race him, I would get excited because I would always win with him. I think I raced like a lot of races with him, and I think I only lost one with him.
Wow, that's very cool. I never met a jockey before. Did you race up here in the United States at all, or just down there?
No, I wish I could have, but here they have a lot of regulations. Like I stopped when I was 19.
When you're yeah.
And so let's say if I wanted to race here, I'm guessing 18 is where you could start. And at that age, I was definitely over 115. I would not have.
And you were a giant amongst jockeys.
A little bit, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's funny. So now you raced them, but you also loved being around horses.
Yeah, they bring a piece to you that really just like, so, I don't know. They just bring a piece to you. It's always like fun being around them, and they're very smart animals.
So you like horses. I like dogs. Dogs are they're my peace animal. They make me feel good, and they're my happy place. I like to be around dogs, and I like to especially the two I have now are they just make me happy. I totally understand that though. You had a sister. You have a sister.
Yeah.
And what's she doing? What kind of stuff? She up here? I'm assuming in the United States.
Yeah. We all live here. My sister works with my dad. My dad's in the tire business.
Oh, okay. So if he ever wants to quit his work, he could retire.
Oh, okay, I see. I see.
I'm going to have to go to him next time I need tires, though, because you can get me a deal. I got a Tesla, and my tires are not cheap.
Oh yeah, I know.
I got a Model X, and I'll tell you what. I paid like $1,600 to replace all four. It was crazy.
Yeah, they're very specialty tires. They have a foam inside.
Yes.
That's like that cancels out the noise.
Yeah, I love my car though, but boy, they're expensive to work on. So, or a lot, I haven't had any work done on it other than the tires have been my only problem that I've had with them. But it seems that when it rains, it pours on tires. Because like one tire I had a leak, and then I finally got that fixed. Then the other one had a leak, and then one of those crazy things. And you can't carry a spare in a Model X because there's no place to put it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I got stuck by the road twice in my car because of a flat.
You would think it would have at least a donut in
you
the
would
bag,
think, but nope, you're screwed.
That's crazy. They have to fix that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's you do what you got to do. So, all right, let me see here. Oh, I got to remember which trackball I'm using. You should see my desk. I got 3 trackballs for 3 different computers because I run multiple computers to do this show. And
oh wow, I can imagine.
It's fun, but it can be you get like, oh, why is my trackball? Oh, I got the wrong one.
Anything with media involved.
So you use the horses to escape and to just kind of get away from things.
Yeah, especially as a kid, I've always dealt with let's say anxiety, so that helped a lot.
You had a lot of problem with anxiety?
A little bit, yeah. No, I struggled a lot with self-esteem issues and stuff like that. So that was more like my comfort.
Okay, I went through a whole life of when I was in school, especially. I had no friends. I was a loner. I couldn't make friends if I paid them. I was one of the people that was really bullied through school, and till I found myself, and it was after school that I found myself, but it wasn't quite. It was quite a bit later before I found myself. Anyway, so yeah, what did you do to to escape? What else did you do to escape?
So let's say when I just got into college, that's when all my partying began.
Okay.
I was part of a frat. I'm actually a frat founder.
Ooh, okay.
So
you gonna get me in that frat?
Yeah, but it was a funny story how it happened. I was in class, and then one of the students that I never met, he just out of nowhere tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey man, listen, me and my buddies are starting up a frat, and we're just trying to recruit people. I just want to know if you're interested in it." And at first I said no, because I can never imagine myself joining a frat or even starting one, nevertheless. But I don't know. He kept on pushing, nagging me. It's more like I gave it to peer pressure. You can say that, and we all started it. Let me tell you something. It's a lot of partying.
Oh, okay.
Drinking. But and usually when you join a frat, you have to what they call you have to get hazed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But since we founded the frat, we didn't have to do that.
So you were the other side. You were the bad guys.
Yeah,
you were the hazers, not the hazies.
Yeah, you could say that again. But let me tell you something. We did do a lot of community service, but I think at the end, it's just partying, drinking clubs, and it's I was never the person to really do drugs.
Okay.
I only did like weed here and there, but
Yeah.
I was never the person to
Well, that's not
to
a that's
really.
not a real bad drug because that you can't get addicted to that. You know, and all and you've never seen anybody get in trouble. Nobody gets. No one starts trouble when they have weed. Usually they're too mellow.
Yeah, it's got to be careful with it because it's a gateway drug. You can say that,
Uh,
and some people, let's say, even though it doesn't have any addictive substances, still people can still get addicted to the action.
well,
You
for
can say
me,
that.
like I didn't do anything for most of my life. I started doing medical marijuana when I was in 2018 because I had some problems sleeping.
Oh, okay.
I do one pill a night, and that puts me to sleep. That's the only thing I do. You know, I've been pro marijuana just because it's not. I don't. You say it's a gateway drug, and I don't really. I don't believe that. I believe it's more of a. It's kind of like if you're going to do a drug, that would be the one to do because, you're not going to screw up your. My brother was sadly very very smart, but he got into meth, and it destroyed his business. It destroyed his life. He died at 52. And it's and that one is a horrible drug that I wouldn't I don't believe in I believe that marijuana is okay, but other drugs, you should only use them as needed. I take pills for pain. I take but I have not taken any other types of pills, and I'm lucky because I didn't get dry. I didn't have any friends that would influence me into that stuff because I didn't have any friends. So, I was able to. I never got into anything that would mind alter me, and
Of course.
and I'm a musician, so this is the weirdest part. I still do. I've been playing music for longer than you've been alive, and and all my musician friends did all kinds of stuff, and I wasn't influenced by that. But I'm a rare person. I'm lucky that I've been able to um, deal with my issues differently. You might have done drugs, but I ate, which is why I became
Oh,
468. But you know,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, no,
that's a dangerous drug too. Food,
food. Oh, yeah, yeah.
because
It
we
can be very
need to
addictive.
have food to live. But
Yeah.
okay, so you didn't do really didn't do drugs, but you drank a lot. Um, did you drink out of frustration? Did you drink out of fun? Did you do all of the above?
Like, all the above. I mean, most of the time it was, we were in the club, we were at a house, we had a party going on. So I was like, and you see people drinking, so it's like you're gonna want to do it too.
Right.
You can say it's kind of like peer pressure, but at the same time, there were times where I was dealing with stuff in my head, and I would just, yeah, let me get drunk tonight.
What age?
And
What time of your life? What year? How old? Not necessarily what year. How old were you?
I was 18, and
18.
right after,
Okay.
yeah, right after high school. It's like I never really did it in high school. I don't think I even did it. I think I might have done it once where I drank beer or two. But once college hit, huh, it just, man, it's like nonstop drinking. I think I would party. I would say I would do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday.
Oh well, got to take off
Yeah,
one day a week.
yeah, there you go. Sometimes,
Did you
yeah.
did you drink though mostly for fun, or did you drink frustration? You were saying about depression.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I had a lot of like self-esteem issues,
Okay.
and, and it's something that it really took a toll on my mind with that. It's like because like I dealt a lot with the kids. Like I felt like I was like how do I say it? Like I feel like people always put me to the side.
Okay.
That's how I felt at a few times, and it felt like I would just be ignored. It wasn't a good. And now I can't say I was being bullied. I can't say that. But like I said, I always felt like I was being pushed to the side, and so I would see like on Snapchat people hanging out, and
Hmm.
they're very like they would be my friends, and I would not get the invitation for it or anything like that. So that hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
See now
So
you
once
you you now you're in your 30s, right? You're 28
no,
or something.
28.
28.
28,
So you went through a different time of than like in my time. There was no Snapchat. There was no internet. There was
Oh,
no
yeah.
all that stuff. It's a different world out there now, and it's funny because most people I won't say most people. A lot of people your age are a different breed. They don't know what it's like to live without a cell phone. They don't know what it's like to live without like you can do this. You can telecommute. We couldn't do that. I had to go to my actual workplace, and it's kind of funny because they don't. Are you considered a? Are you your generation is the um, millennial?
Millennial.
Yeah. Are you a millennial?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this is not geared towards you in particular, but a lot of the millennials don't seem to understand the world as I know they don't understand it as I do, but it's a different world for them than us because we had to do a lot of things that we didn't have a lot of things that you have now, and we're a little jealous, basically. But I mean, like a lot of the millennials do not. Okay, a lot of the millennials think that I'm going to be a YouTube star and I'm going to make all my money. I don't even have to leave the house. I'm not going to have to do that. And or I'm going to. They can't seem to find. Or a lot of them will live home. Are you? I've got to be careful. I don't know what you do. You don't live. Do you live with your parents?
At the moment, yes.
Okay,
So,
a lot of millennials live with their parents yet, and a lot of them don't want to leave that because it's security. And
of course.
for me, I left the house. I started college when I was 16, and
Wow.
and I moved out of my parents' house because I was in a really strange situation. I was born in a house that was 4 rooms, not 3 rooms, 4 rooms. We didn't have running water, and so a lot different from today. Believe me, it's so.
Yeah.
And my parents ignored me, and my brother used to beat me up all the time. That's one of the reasons I got bigger because I thought I could, if I was bigger, he's not going to do that. He did it. He still did it. My brother was a bully. My brother wanted to beat the living daylights out of me, and for no reason. He would just have anger issues, and he would sometimes I'd be on the ground, he'd be on top of me, and my parents wouldn't believe me. So he became an issue. The same brother that died at 52, by the way, and to show you what kind of person I am. When he was going through his cancer treatments, I stood there by his side, paying his bills. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I did the right thing. Sometimes you do things that people say, "Why'd you do that?" Because he treated you so horrible. Well, because that was the right thing to do, you know.
Yeah, you're a good person for that.
And I did the same thing for my mother when she ignored me throughout my life, and I had issues with her from early on, and I moved into my van. I lived in a van for 3 years, so I know what it's like to be rock bottom because I've been there.
He went to the school of hard knocks.
And my parents promised me they would pay for my college if I went to college. When I was 16, I went to college. I said to them, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to college at 16." They said, "Oh, that's cool. How you paying for it?"
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Well, you said you'd pay for it if I made it to college." They said, "Well, we don't have that kind of money." So I had to pay for it myself. And so, it's a different world now because I noticed that a lot of parents are more interactive with their children. Maybe it was just, I mean, I think it was really my parents. My dad was okay. He just was beaten down by my mother. And my dad died when I was 25. And I really rebelled a lot up until right before he died when I made amends with him. And so he died after I made amends to him, thankfully. Because I don't know how I could have lived with myself because I was the problem with him. I mean, he didn't have problems with me. I had problems with him. And I made amends with him right before that. I don't know if I've told anybody this, but he really, I became a lot like him in that I cared about people enough that if they meant something to me, I would be there for them. And I'm going through a situation with my younger brother where he screwed me over out of $1,600 in 2018 and disappeared. Didn't try to pay me back. He just disappeared. And just January, he said to me, he sent me a thing on Facebook about brothers should always be there for each other. And I said, well, it's funny you should say that since you disappeared out of my life. And he said, I didn't disappear out of your life. I said, well, what did you do? Tell me about that, because you borrowed money, disappeared for 6 years, and came back and started making comments like that. I said, why would you make that comment to me when you just disappeared? And we started talking, and he started getting defensive, like, oh, I didn't disappear. I said, yeah, you did. Okay. And I said, look, it's not about the money. It's about the disappearing. That's the problem. And if you're going to disappear out of somebody's life, don't tell them that other person should always be there for them. You should, And anyway, he's in a situation that he's not able to deal with. He lost his job. He's living in California. His wife died. All kinds of things. Just very.
He's going through it.
Well, the thing that's funny if you want to say, is that he follows my path. I'm his idol, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to be his idol, but he married a woman the year after I married a woman. My wife died. A year later, his wife died. So we're following similar paths, although the difference being that I kept a job for a long time and was able to retire young, and he is just the opposite of that. He's in a situation now where I'm deciding if I can help him or not, because I would help him again, even though he owes me that money, because he's my brother.
Of course.
So
of course.
It's kind of weird, but anyway, it's enough about me. But I guess what I'm saying is that you don't sound like the millennials that I've talked to. So I'm kind of interested in your situation, because you're not like the typical millennial that I've talked to. Now, you did go through times of partying and all that stuff. What made you go from that partying lifestyle to cleaning up your act?
So, I remember, well, like most people, it was like a breakup, let's say. So, I was in a relationship, and it was actually, it broke me in such a way. But the thing is, like, not only that, like, the breakup happened, and then, like, there's a few things started happening after that. And so it was like it was just things adding up to it. And it got to a point where, like, man, it wasn't even anxiety or depression anymore. It was just plain out fear. Like, I had like very bad social anxiety. I couldn't talk to people because I was such a mess. And I remember getting this job at Stu Leonard's. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a grocery store called Stu Leonard's.
No.
So yeah, I remember I got hired as a front end cashier, and 2 weeks later, they promote me to a supervisor.
Okay.
So with that, I made friends with a person who invited me to the church, because she knew I was going through this rough patch in my life. And when you're at that stage, you'll say yes to anything. When you're vulnerable, you'll basically say yes to anything. So I was like, okay, I'll go. And with that, I went to the service, and then I sat through the service, and then the pastor, which is my friend Bobby, he pulled me out and was like, how would you feel about giving your life to Jesus? Now, at first I was like, I don't know what that meant. I just said, okay, I'll do it. It's fine. So when I started praying that, I started feeling something that I have never felt before.
Okay.
I started like repeating after what he was saying, and it got to a point where I'm like, man, I started crying. I felt like all the anxiety, depression that I had inside would just left.
Okay.
Like, I was so fine, and I was like, what just happened? And funny enough, two months later, I invited my parents to the church, and I still have the video to it. They walked through those doors, and out of nowhere, they both started crying.
Now, your parents, what did they have faith? Were they people of faith at that point?
Yeah. They always, like, what do you call it, believed in God. They prayed, but it was nothing like, they never really felt like a touch of God,
Okay.
as you would call it.
And did you have
Yeah,
any
so-
faith prior to that? Did you have any kind of interaction, any beliefs before that?
Yeah, no, I believed in God. I believed in Jesus, but it was never something serious where, like, I took it serious. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It was just something like, okay, I know He's there. I'll say my prayer here and there, like, oh, thank you, God, amen. Like, it wasn't nothing really crazy.
Did you take your
And-
vitamins?
I did.
Like Hulk Hogan said, take your vitamins and
Take
say your
your
prayers?
Yeah. But sometimes I was very bad with that sometimes, but I no, for the most part I was sort of disciplined with it.
Okay.
But yeah, they walked through those doors, and it's the first time I saw my dad cry.
Wow.
And then my mom. Oh, my mom was a mess.
How many years ago
And
are we talking? How many years ago?
That was 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Okay. All right. Now, that's before you got into culinary school or after?
That's before I got it.
Before, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did you find that the involvement kind of helped you mentally, helped you focus?
Yeah, no,
What I should say? Okay, explain to me how your life has changed, basically.
so now, at first, like when you get saved, you still, like, deal with some temptation of your past life,
Sure.
as you
Yeah.
could say. So, for example, I still got tempted to sometimes, party and just get drunk and all that stuff. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I did it like probably like a month after I got saved, and I felt convicted. I felt like, I felt like I shouldn't be doing this. I felt bad, and after that, I just didn't do it. I was like, I can't. I felt so bad. But let me tell you something. Where I didn't have joy or peace I had, it was just insane, because, like, my anxiety was gone, my depression was gone. Like, I had peace inside me that I never thought I could have.
That's
Because
beautiful.
before I had self-esteem issues. I had everything that you can think of. I was just a complete mess. And now I can finally talk to people in such a normal way, because, like, before that, I could not even hold a conversation with everyone. I would start turning red. I would start studying, because I would just get nervous. Like, just my mental state was just down the gutter, to say that.
Okay. What church are we talking about here?
It's a non-denominational church. You can say it's a charismatic church.
And what's the name of it?
Sound of Heaven.
And is that? Tell me about the people involved in that. Tell me. You said Bobby. Tell me about Bobby a little bit.
So Bobby, he's a character.
He is a character. I've known him for a long
character.
time. So.
So with him, he used to be a WWE agent.
Yeah.
A pro wrestling agent and everything, and
That's how I met him.
So he worked with the big names, Shawn Michaels. One of his biggest clients is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Yep.
Buddhist Barbara Beefcake. Sergeant Slaughter. So all those big names he's worked with, and so Johnny, the apostle of that church, his name is Johnny. So it's something that is Bobby who mentored him.
Yes,
So they
his
both-
name is Johnny
Ova.
Yes.
Oh,
Someone else who I know. I know him very well.
Ova.
Bobby and I go way back. Actually, we met. Where did we meet? We met at a show somewhere, and they were putting. He told me about this church that was going to be putting on these wrestling shows. We met at a wrestling show, and he said, "I'd like to have you come up." And I said, "Where is it?" So he said, Long Island. I said, that's 6 hours away. And I said, look, sure, send me, I'll do it. And I did that. I did that for as long as they had the shows. I would drive 6 hours a month just to be on their show. And some of the best times I had in wrestling was with that promotion.
And who did you get to meet?
Oh,
in those shows?
I bet everybody you said was I've worked with everyone you said. I have not interviewed Shawn Michaels, but everybody else that you said I've interviewed. Ted's been on the show a bunch of times. I just it's funny because these are guys. Well, Ted was a guy I grew up watching, and I was in an angle with Ted. I was the bad guy, and Ted came up to Connecticut. Now, first off, when I worked for them, I was Sheikh Zabala, and that's Zabala is Egyptian for trash. So I was Sheikh Trash, but I had this headdress on, and you can look it up on YouTube. If you look up Sheikh Zabala, you'll see the promo I did against Ted DiBiase. We had a thing set up where Ted was coming there for just to be at the show. It was just an indie show, And when he got there, they called him into the ring, and they gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, he didn't know any of this was going to happen. He didn't know he was going to get the Lifetime Achievement Award, and he didn't know what was next. When he got his Lifetime Achievement Award, he was in tears saying thank you to the people, and he was just very emotional. And all of a sudden, this big screen pops up with my face on it and says, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. And I started busting on him for a 3-minute video. And I'm in the back, and I thought, maybe I should have been a little nicer, because there's a lot of people out there, and they hate me now so bad. They hate me so bad. And I'm starting to cower in the corner. I'm thinking, I should have never done this to Ted, because Ted's a good guy. And anyway, so I went out for the match that I was involved in, and there were people trying to grab my hair and pull off my. It was crazy. The people were really upset with me. There were people that were hitting me on the back and stuff. It was very old school. And so anyway, when we were done with the show, I was getting my stuff ready to go, and I walked up to Ted and I said, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I was so mean. And he said, oh no, that was a great promo. I loved it. Yeah. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, you got to make it believable.
It was believable. I believed I was evil at that point, so that was pretty bad.
Yeah, you got to really make the people believe it. You really got to make the people just know that, what he's saying, he really feels it inside.
Yep, he was Ted DiBiase is the $1 Billion Man. That was a fun interview, but I really did actually, for the first time in my life, felt bad about a promo I cut. So, and then I've got a Johnny story. I was managing a guy from New York who's 6'9". Johnny's 5'0".
5'10" or something.
Yeah, something like that. This guy towered over him, and I was up on the ring, and the ring apron was probably probably about 4 feet tall, and I wouldn't do anything wrong as a manager. I believe in right by the book, and Johnny beat me up really bad, and he drop kicked me off the apron, and I flew backwards, and that was the highest fall I've done. And I laid there, and I'm like, okay, maybe that was not a good idea. Anyway, at the end, when I go back, everyone's saying, are you okay? You okay? You okay? I said, actually, my back was hurting before I did this. I landed, it straightened my back out. So I probably owe him a chiropractic bill, but
that worked wonders for you.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved that place. That was I miss that. There was some great talent up there, and they were fun to work with, and I miss that place. It was just a lot of fun. But so I know those guys very well. I love Bobby. I mean, I consider him a brother. I mean, he's just been always nice to me, and he allowed us to go to a promotion in Georgia called um, Triple X Wrestling, I think it was. It was Triple X Church is who held it. It wasn't Triple X Wrestling, but we went down there and we were with all the big stars and stuff, and it was fun. It was a really neat place, and it was done in Center Stage, but you probably don't know what Center Stage is. But Center Stage is where WCW did all their official TV tapings. And,
really?
And Striper played that night, so I got to see Striper live. It was cool. So
they're a great band. They really
yeah.
are.
So what guided you towards culinary?
So I remember when I've been to Europe a few times, and the thing is, when I was in Europe, I just got fascinated a lot about Spanish food, like Spain Spanish
Sure.
food, and it got to a point where I'm like, man, I really would like to own my own restaurant when I get older.
Okay.
And because it's like after that, I just got fascinated by food, and just I don't know. It just if you were to taste the food in Spain,
Yeah, it'd
and
be different.
Italy, it's amazing. You just can't compare it. Everything's so fresh, and compared to the U.S. where you got a lot of preservatives, a lot of stuff that they put on that's not good for you. But you know, it's I don't know. It's like we've been to some very good restaurants, and let me tell you something. In Spain, everything's so like inexpensive.
Okay.
You go to a very fancy restaurant. It's like you're going to like, let's say like a McDonald's here. It's very very cheap. It's like you get the best service for McDonald's prices, basically.
That's cool. I've never left the country yet. One of these days I'll get to leave.
Yeah, until Europe is something that it fascinates me. So, you know, that got me started into maybe I'm gonna start working as a cook. I did that for a few years, and out of nowhere, I thought, you know what? Let me go to culinary school. Let me get just better at cooking, because like when you're a line cook, you only know what to make, what they tell you to make, but there's really not a lot of creativity,
right?
Depending on your work. But like in culinary school, you get to test dishes out. They'll show you what to do, what goes good with what, and I loved it. So I'm from Long Island, so my school is in the city.
Okay.
So I would do it 5 times a week, basically Monday through Friday, at the school. So I would commute. So it's like you could say it's like an hour and 15 commute, and I would do that every day. So the commute gets tiring. The commute sometimes tires me more out than in the actual school.
I can understand that. I had a commercial shoot this past weekend. I drove 6 hours to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning so that I could be on that commercial shoot. It was awesome, but boy, it takes a lot out of you when you got to drive that time.
It does, because it's like an extra hour of work, basically,
yeah.
or 6 hours in your case.
Right.
It's a lot, but with that culinary school, I literally got the opportunity to work at a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
That's awesome.
So that was awesome. So during the time, they were in New York City. There's 5 restaurants that are 3-star Michelin restaurants.
Okay.
So, and 3 stars are the most you can get. It's insanely hard to get 3 stars. Now 2 is also very hard. But you know, my goal was to work at a 3-star. So I applied at a few other ones, but the thing is, none of them were hiring at that time, because it was the summertime, and those type of restaurants slow down in the summer because people are at those restaurants that are in front of the water and everything. So I landed one that was hiring, and it's called 11 Madison Park.
Okay.
So what I liked the food, but I didn't like fall in love with it because it was all vegan food.
Okay. Yeah.
So think about like the guests are paying $400 per person, and then that doesn't even include a drink. That just includes the food. If you want the wine pairing, it's an extra $300.
Wow. I went to a restaurant like that twice in my life. Once was last year at this time. I flew out to Beverly Hills, and it was a Chow Fei Fung. I don't know what the name of it. It was some weird name, but it was Brazilian, and it was actually
Oh,
awesome. They brought these big pieces of meat out to your table, and they sliced it as you wanted it. And oh man, I ate and ate. It was horribly good, horribly good.
those Brazilian restaurants, they're dangerous. It's
Yeah.
like you'll eat till you're in a coma,
Oh,
basically.
I did. It took them a
Yeah.
while to get me out of the coma, but it was really awesome. But it was expensive too. It was like $200 or something. I don't know how much it was, but it was pretty expensive. It was Beverly Hills
Yeah.
too, so
Oh, of course. So
Yeah.
yeah, you pay top notch, basically.
yeah. But anyway, so are you done with that culinary school now?
Yeah. So right now, after like a year of working at 11 Madison Park, I decided to just get something work somewhere local.
Okay.
So right now I'm a waiter. So because the fact that my mentality is if you want to own a restaurant, you got to learn all
I
aspects of the business.
I got a funny story about that. My first job or one of the first jobs I had, working in a restaurant, and I was hired as a dishwasher, and I was like 16, so I didn't know anything. So I went in there and I did what I thought was a good job, but this guy comes back and he goes, "You got to be faster." Now, me
Yeah.
being a smart aleck, I said, "Well, if you think you can do better than that, show me."
Ooh,
I shouldn't have said
how'd that-
that. I shouldn't have said that. So he said, "Okay." So he got behind the thing and he just went, everything. It was really fast at what he was doing. And I thought, okay, he showed me. All right, I'll try it his way. Well, it comes to find out that guy was the owner of the place. And the rest of the time there, I was feeling awkward every time I saw him because I said that after like 3 days of working there. And well, I only lasted there a week.
Oh, really? Yeah.
When
It's
you're
awkward.
16 and you think you know the world and you think you know everything and you're smart aleck and you mess things up I learned my lesson. And that was the only restaurant job I ever had. I didn't want to be a restaurant person because it really wasn't what I just did it because I needed money for school because I was putting myself through
Yeah.
school. And so I learned a very valuable lesson that day. Be careful who you mouth off at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I would mouth off maybe like a week after knowing who everyone is.
Yeah. And then you are careful who you mouth off at too. So what are you? So are you a minister now?
Yeah. So I do both. So I'm a waiter and I'm also a minister, but I don't get paid for ministry.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, you could. It matters that you have the skills and the confidence and all that stuff. So you went from being a guy that didn't really believe in yourself to be able to tell other people how you feel and explain to them faith. That's a big jump. That's a big jump from one to the other.
Of course, yeah. It's something that So one thing I always say is that you have to be broken to understand broken people.
Yes.
So my thing is I understood brokenness and whenever I saw people going through stuff, it's something that I see them as like I've been where you've been.
Yep.
I've cried where you cried. I've seen it all. So like it's something in me was like I don't like seeing people go through stuff like that because knowing that you've been through it, the pain and the toll that it takes on your mind, and it's something that I always try to tell people. Listen, sometimes when you try to work things out on your own, you're not going to go far. But when you got God next to you and behind you and all over you, you're going to go very far. There's a very famous verse that people say that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And also, like with God, all things are possible. It's true. It's true, and I've witnessed that in my life. So now, was the transition that can stay like pretty hard to start? Let's say speaking in public. Yeah, because let me tell you something. I was not good at public speaking in school. I was not. I was one of those people that would stutter, and I would turn red, because just speaking out in public, and to transition to start speaking that was hard at one point because it's something that I was not used to it. We all crave comfortability, and that was not comfortable. That was a whole different level uncomfortable. You can say
I
that.
used to stutter too. I used to stutter a lot.
Oh, really?
So what I learned once I figured out that I was stuttering, I slowed my speech down, and then I could concentrate on what I'm going to speak about and say it straight. And occasionally I still stutter, but it's very, when I stutter, it's when I'm not sure what I'm going to say, and I have a lot of thoughts in my head going on at once, and so I can relate to that. Tell me about local legends.
So years ago, Bobby decided to start the show with a few buddies of him. But you're talking about 10 years ago. So I've known Bobby for 7.
Okay.
He started the show 10 years ago, and I don't know how many episodes he did. I think he did it for a bit, but then I don't know where I think he just stopped. I don't know. I don't remember why, but I would say like a year ago we decided. He talked to me about the idea. I was like, "How would you feel about starting it up again? But this time, it's going to be me and you." And I would tell him, "Okay, but what's the show really about?" And he told me it's more like So one thing about it is like a lot of Christians are known for like just maybe like being all like stuck up and maybe not wanting to have fun, but that's not really what it's about. So we want to show people that Christians can have fun too. So we would obviously include a lot of ministry and God in there, but at the same time we would also include stuff that's not God, that it's stuff that we would play like game shows and stuff like that. But something that we just want people to just come in and just feel comfortable.
Okay.
Basically, you can say that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's kind
And
of
so
fun.
so we usually have musical guests. We have I think like a few weeks ago we had a Christian rapper. So yeah. So but when I mean Christian rapper, he was like a hardcore rapper. It's like he was going off at it. It was good.
Okay.
And we had musicians that we've had authors. We had a few people, and they come to the show and they talk about the stuff that they're doing. There was someone who what do you call has a coffee shop, and they brew their own coffee. They have their own beans, and they say it's a Christian coffee house. They had something like where they play Christian music in there while you're having your coffee. You can say it's like a coffee shop in a way.
That sounds fun. Have you done engagements like overseas where you were speaking?
That I haven't, but I did have done. Well, I'm from New York, but I've done engagements in we call it in Charlotte,
Okay.
Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey. I've done a few, but usually a lot has been locally.
Okay. Well, I mean that's a big thing going from being a shy guy, not wanting to talk to anybody about anything, then you're talking in front of hundreds, potentially thousands of people. That's kind of cool.
I've never imagined it.
Yeah.
First.
One of the shows that we had with Bobby, it's actually the biggest show I've ever performed at, was I think there were 3,500 people there, and it was at the church, the one church that we were having the wrestling show at, and that was the most people I think I've ever performed at. Even in music, I don't know, I probably didn't mention I was in music, but I've been in music for 40 years, and in 40 years of playing music, I've never played in front of a crowd that big. I think the biggest crowd I played in front of was probably 1,500 people, and that was just one time. Most times it's usually just a bar crowd or a party or something like that. So it was kind of cool that I had a chance to be performing in front of that many people for a wrestling show.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, 3,500 people. You can say it's a lot.
That was a lot.
If you've never done that before, it's like intimidating.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
So now, when you do your story, when you do your engagements, what story do you tell? Do you tell your life story? Do you tell what story do you tell? What kind of things do you talk about in your
So I talk a lot about my testimony, but not all the time. Mostly just like, it's just a message. Like, how some pastors would come and just, share a message on just random stuff, or it could be just something on like, let's say, on anxiety. It could be something that would do that. But I would also include, like, I've been through this, I've done this. But most of the time, it's just my testimony, telling them, like, I've dealt with this, I've dealt with anxiety, I've dealt with depression, I've dealt with stuff like that. But it's something that I don't really plan much when I speak. Like, I do have an outline, but it's something that I'll most of the time I would literally just drift off of that sometimes, and sometimes maybe even change it.
Well, that sounds like my show. That's the same. I mean, like, I do this show every week, and I write ideas for topics and stuff like that, and half the time I don't use them. I've got a minister on my show who is a friend of mine for 40 years, and we talk about everything on our show. So, at the beginning of the show, I say, "Hey, what topics you got?" And I compare it to what I got, and then we decide on the fly what we're doing, just like we're doing right now. Just kind of put it together. Do you get anxious before these engagements?
Not anxious, but just maybe like butterflies in my stomach.
Okay.
And so maybe just a little like, all right, new crowd, or just or something. Sometimes you can get into your head sometimes, in a sense, like it could be like, I don't want to mess it up. I really want it to be a good message today. I really want people to really be affected by this message. It's something like that. But once I'm up there, it tends to go away, because once you're doing it, it's like your mind is not focused on the nerves, but just focused on really affecting people, basically.
Okay. Did you ever see yourself in this when you were a kid? Did you ever think that you would be where you are now?
No, not at all.
I can't imagine, like, if I looked back and said, when my 16-year-old self, that I was going to be even doing a radio show. I actually had one of my first jobs was a DJ, and like, I lasted like no time at all. I hated it. I said, I don't want to do this. This is like, I got anxiety. I couldn't, like, I'd be there and I'd love playing the records, but when it came to, actually back then they had records. We had vinyl records, these little.
Oh, really?
That back in that day. And I would love that. I'd get to play whatever I wanted to play. But when it came to talking, I just didn't want to talk, and I hated it. I worked for one of the biggest AM radio stations. That shows how old it is. In the area, and it was a popular radio station, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't talk. I didn't feel right about it. And here I am. And it's funny. Everyone always said to me, "You got a great voice for radio. You'd be good at radio." And I'd be like, "I don't want to do radio. Radio sucks. It's pressure." And then people would say, "You'd be great at sales. You should get a job in sales." And I said, "I'm not getting a job in sales." After I graduated from college, I went to the counselor's office, and he said, "You'd be good at sales." I said, "I don't want to do sales." Well, what do you want to do? I want a job where I can sit at a desk and talk to people on the phone all day. He said, "There's no jobs out there like that." You know what I ended up doing? I did tech sales for 30 years. That's what I ended up doing. And I actually like tech sales because I like technology. And sales, it really wasn't tech sales. It was just talking about technology. So I liked that. And I was good at it. So I got to retire real young, and, not real young, but I got to retire early, and it was fun. It was so that's where I came from. I came from tech sales, and I did all the things I said I wasn't going to do. I did sales.
Sorry.
I did radio. I did something I never thought I'd do, wrestling. I was 40 when I started wrestling, and
Yeah.
and I
That's
did
one thing.
music.
That's what people say never, because sometimes it's like you end up doing the most unexpected things. It's insane. It's
I-
like, you never imagine yourself doing something, that it just, let's say, like, let's say some people look at their lives, and say, I want to do this when I get older. Like when you're a kid, and it's like when you find yourself doing something that you said you were never gonna do, it's something. Yeah, it's like it takes you back. It takes you back. It's more like, can't believe that.
Well, I never imagined myself in acting. When I was in college at 16, I tried an acting class and I lasted 3 days. I thought, this sucks. I could never do this. And now what am I doing? I did 7 projects this year.
Oh, wow.
This year, I did 7 projects. I did Zero Day for 5 days. I did The Devil You Don't. I did. I'm in a movie. We're not done with the movie yet. It's called Watch and Listen. I'm playing a homeless guy that is giving scripture. It's really kind of cool.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah,
There you go.
and then I turn out to be a Jesus-like character later on in the movie, but I'm a pivotal part in that movie because I turned this guy's life around. I have a photo shoot at the end of September. I've done 4 photo shoots a year for the past 3 years. I did music engagement in July where I did rock and roll music again, where I thought I'd never be doing rock again because my best friend and music partner of 37 years died of COVID. And I never thought, I walked away from music and I didn't sing a note for a year. I just wouldn't do anything. And then I got the bug again. I had to play music again. So now I'm back playing music again. But I got to do that for the first time in 2.5 years. In July, I got to do it. Then I did a modeling job. I did a job for B-roll footage, and then I did that commercial. So I did a full scale of everything. I did modeling, acting, the photo shoot, the commercial. I did everything in the past couple of months. It's awesome,
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. I mean, I don't know if I told you this, but I was studying to be an actor when I was in middle school.
Oh wow, middle school. Wow. See, my parents wouldn't help me do that stuff. I was in marching band. They made me quit because I was too fat. I was in Cub Scouts. They made me quit because I was too fat. My mother told me that if I didn't lose weight, I was going to have to wear dresses to school. I mean, I had some pretty messed up things happen to me with that. And I never imagined. I always wanted to be Elvis Presley. I wanted to be a rock and roller that was acting, and now I'm a rock and roller that's acting. And I write my own stuff. I have 3 series that I've written, and now I just got to find a home for it. But the one series is awesome. It's like a cross between Three's Company and Friends. It's really fun. So. But yeah, the acting thing has become a big part of my life. I'd never expected it. Never.
Yeah, no, it's a hard industry to get into. It really is. Let's say you want to do Broadway or actual TV acting, commercial acting. It's not easy.
There's so many people out there doing it. It's
looking for jobs. It's like, and I know for every, let's say something comes out where like people they want people to audition for like a commercial.
Yep.
For that, you'll get like hundreds of people just auditioning. It's like, it's a lot.
Yep.
It's a lot.
In August, I was in Philly for one job. I was in Rhode Island for another job, and I was in Virginia for another job. So all three of those weeks, I was driving all over the place. I loved it.
Yeah, it's fun. Getting to know places. the best.
Oh, I used
It
to,
really-
well, with wrestling, I mean, I was in 16 states, so I got to go all over the place with wrestling. So,
I'm trying to count how many states I've been to. It hasn't been that many though.
well, I have something nobody else has. I have a belt named after my radio show, Trash Talking Radio Belt. And whenever I take it out, people want that belt. They really want that belt. It don't matter. I've defended it in 16 states, so
Oh, wow.
it's gotten
That's
around.
crazy. Yeah, no, it's awesome to have your own belt. It's like I don't know. I would feel like like the $1 Million Man. He has his own belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think my belt looks better than his anyway. His is too blingy. I don't like all that bling. I just want a good belt that everybody will want. Let's see here. So tell me what. Okay, so you're thinking that preaching is going to be is your calling? Is that where you're at? Is that?
Yeah. No, of course.
You think you've helped a lot of people find their way?
A good amount.
Yeah.
I mean, job's not done. I still.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a never-ending job.
Yeah. I still want to help more people today. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. Like I said before, it's like I want people to know who God really is, because some people have you can say, a very messed up view of who Jesus is.
Yeah.
Because maybe people have made him out to be someone who is not. You know, obviously there's some Christians that are very judgmental, and that's when you read the Bible, that it's not about that. It really isn't. But just people just very so much so very misinterpret the Bible, and just think that it's saying one thing, meanwhile it's saying another thing.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I had that issue this past week when I did that one audition. I played that audition on the air on my show, and my co-host, who was a minister, I mentioned that before, he said, "Do you know what that means?" And I thought, it's 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 16 through 18. And I quoted that scripture, and he asked me if I knew what that meant. And I was starting to talk about it, and I thought, oh, maybe I don't know what it means. And he explained to me what it meant. And I was on the right track, but I wasn't really there. And what I thought it meant was a little bit different than what he said it was. So it was interesting to hear his take on that, or hear the take of the church.
Yeah, no, of course. And one thing people have to realize sometimes, that, context in reading the Bible is everything. For example, like you mentioned 1 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians. So that was Paul's second letter to the Corinthian church at Corinth in the first century.
Okay.
So it was just a letter that he wrote to the people saying, okay, this and that I want this and that. Like, he's basically just telling them, okay, this is the problems that are going on in the church right now, and this is how I want you to fix them. So there's a scripture that talked about women can't preach.
Yeah.
And so people have to realize that in that what do you call it? During that time, the women at the church at Corinth were causing a lot of confusion. Were dressing in a way that they shouldn't be dressing. So he wrote the letter saying, okay, I don't want the women preaching right now. And he didn't say, I don't want them ever preaching. No, for now, we're going to set them down, because they're causing a lot of mayhem, confusion, and this is not what we need right now.
Right.
So people have to realize that you have to remember who it was written to and why it was written.
Yeah.
So some people have to realize, they have to know what was going on during that time period, why he.
But even that, it's funny because different religions or faiths, or whatever you want to call it, still are so far off the mark, in my opinion. Like when you talk about the Muslims.
Yeah.
Covering the face, the women can't do this, they can't do that, and it's just I'm so confused how it could still be it could still be that way, and it just
Yeah. So the thing with this is like, so I'm gonna be first. Maybe you probably heard it from somebody else, but not every religion is true.
that well,
Okay.
yeah.
So a lot of people say, every religion is true. Well, listen,
Every religion is true. It just may not be what they're saying. I mean, they are there. Those religions are there, but what they're believing, I believe that every religion has some fact in it. I don't,
of course.
and I like to take and give them, but I believe in what I believe, and I'll believe maybe what you believe, but I won't believe everything you believe because there's some things that, not you particularly, but in all religions, I believe there is a certain amount of truth in what they're talking about.
Of
But
course. And a lot of religions, may be similar in certain things that they say, but when it comes to the core of it,
right,
they're completely different.
yeah,
Very different. So, for example, Islam, they believe that Jesus didn't die on the cross, didn't rise, and he was just a prophet.
right, sure,
Meanwhile, we believe that. That's the core of our beliefs.
right,
So one thing is, like, let me tell you. So let's say, so if Jesus didn't die and rise, Christianity is not true. I'm gonna plain out say it like that, because that's the core of our belief. So when Muslims say that he didn't die, he didn't rise, okay, that contradicts the Bible. So both of them can't be true. One of them has to be. So and also another example, Hinduism, they have 330 million deities, and meanwhile we believe that there's one God.
right,
So it's both of them cannot be true. So you have to look at the evidence behind that. And when you're seeking for evidence behind every religion, you have to tell yourself two things. One, you're going to believe wherever the evidence takes you. Okay? And two, you cannot base your decision on feelings. You have to base your decision on truth. Because
okay,
if you live your life based on feelings, you can agree that we're probably not going to go far. You can say that.
okay,
But when you base your life on truth and the facts and what you should do, then you could go far, and most likely you will. But my thing is, so I took that journey on 7 years ago, and I told myself that I'm gonna believe wherever the evidence takes me. And let's say, so I decided to study every religion. I studied not every, but like the main ones. So I studied Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and and Judaism too. But Judaism is basically like just the Old Testament. So I looked at everything, and so you look at Islam. Muhammad obviously was the prophet, but you have to look at the evidence behind what he said. What did he do to prove his statements true?
okay,
Okay, now then you got to look at what Jesus said. What did he do to prove his statements true? Now, if Jesus actually died and then he rose, that says a lot. That goes to show you that maybe what he said was true, because me and you can agree that not really anyone can do that. So you have to look at the evidence. Okay, did he really die? Okay, did he really believe everything that he was doing, and then did he rise? You have to show the scientific facts. Okay, did he actually die? Because in order to rise, you got to die. Okay, and so there's a lot of evidence, like inside and outside the Bible, that just corroborate each other, and it's a lot of information. But man, I've seen movies, I've seen documentaries, and I've read a lot, and it all adds up basically.
Did you do a cruise or something recently?
Yeah. So we actually ended up preaching at the cruise.
Okay, tell me about it.
So there was this group that wanted to just do a worship service, like it's working with service at on a sea day. So we decided to do that, and it was like a regular service. It was it wasn't like, it was a small room. It wasn't a room that you would think it would be, but we had that thing around like 50 people show up, and then so the person that with the idea decided that she wanted to lead worship. She wanted to lead the singing, and she wanted us to speak.
Was this a big cruise, a little cruise?
Oh, it was a big cruise. It was it's called the Symphony of the Seas, Royal Caribbean.
Oh, okay. I never heard of that, but that's cool. I've heard of I've heard of the company.
Royal Caribbean,
yeah.
So it is the third largest ship in the world, I think.
Wow.
Third or fourth. And let me tell you something. It was a sold out cruise.
Wow.
It was packed. It was packed. I never thought it would be that packed. I was like in shock. Like the pool area was like crowded. You have to get to if you wanted a lounge chair, you have to get there like around 9 a.m. or you're not getting them for the rest of the day.
Okay.
But overall, it was fun when we went to the Bahamas, and the Bahamas is hot.
Okay.
I didn't think it would be that hot. I got out and I'm like, whoa. I was like, whoa. It felt like Florida weather. It felt like just the humidity. You feel like just the heat on you. It was a lot. But once I couldn't wait to go into the water. That's how bad I was dying.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, but overall, the whole cruise is just it was not. It's a big ship.
I've never taken a big cruise like that. I will someday. But I thought about doing the singer thing where you can be a lounge singer, and they pay really well, but you can lock in for like 6 or 8 months, and I can't lock myself into something like that.
The contract and the thing with that is like we were talking to some of the people who work there. They work 7 days a week. They don't rest.
Yeah.
For 6, 8 months they don't rest, and I'm like, I need at least a day off.
I'd like to do it for a week or something like that, but I don't want to do it for periods of time. I really would like to say that I did it, but that's okay. I'm not willing to give up that much of my life for one thing because that locks me into it. I can't take anything else, you know.
Of course.
But yeah, that's crazy. Let's see here. Do you have a special memory from this past year you'd like to talk about?
Oh wow.
Something stick out? Something just starting out, or just anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah. So well, actually, the memory that might stick out the most is what's funny is it's a memory that is yet to happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna start tomorrow, actually. So,
okay.
I'm going away to Europe for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I've been to Europe, but never for this long.
I've never been to Europe yet.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going.
You need someone to carry your luggage?
Yeah, come on. Of course, I always need that. But yeah, it's something that. We're going to let's see. We're going to Denmark, Switzerland, Nice, Monaco, Portofino, Italy. Then we're going to Norway, then Germany, Croatia, and Greece. So yeah, basically eight spots, eight countries. So it's something that I look forward to. But at the same time, do I expect myself to be a little bit homesick while I'm there? Yeah, it's 3 weeks. It's a long vacation.
It is a long time. But
it is.
Wow, that'd be awesome. I've never done more than a week on vacation anywhere.
Yeah. So the times where I'm thinking to myself, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've done the most 10 days vacation, and usually by like the 8th day, I start getting homesick.
Yeah.
So I'm like having those thoughts. Am I gonna just want to come home after the 8th day? That's the thing. So, but no, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. That'd be something I don't know. See, the problem is I'm a workaholic. And I'm retired for, let's see, it's probably 6 years now, and I work harder than I worked when I had a job.
Oh wow.
But I like it. It's fun. It's everything I'm doing is entertainment to me because I'm doing music, I'm doing the radio show, I'm doing acting, I'm doing writing. everything I do is entertainment now.
Yeah, you're doing a lot, and it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, some people just can't sit in bed the whole day, I'm that way too. Like I have to be doing something.
Yeah, it's
I,
fun.
I'll go.
Why do you think that it's so important to reach out to your generation, for instance? Why do you think it's so important?
So there's something that I've always had in the back of my head. So when it comes to, so I'll bring up social media, let's say. So I do believe that a lot of the anxiety and depression that a lot of people deal with is because of social media. Because a lot of people, what they do is they compare themselves to a small little box. They compare themselves to other people, like, and this is why some people like let's say some people want to be married by a certain age because they see something on social media or they put like very like bad expectations on themselves that they really shouldn't. And I believe my generation is something that they deal with a lot of comparison, let's say. And comparison is something that really just it wrecked me for a bit, and it's something that my generation really has to learn, that that you don't need to compare yourself to where the people are in their lives, because you never know what they're dealing with. They may seem happy on social media, but deep down they could be very just going through it. You just never know what they're going through, so you should never compare, because their life is different from your life.
One thing that drives me crazy about social media, now that you mentioned social media, social media is not what I feel it should be. A lot of people go on social media just to complain, and I try to be a positive role model on my social media. I don't pick on anybody. I talk positive. I kind of say I put quotes up that are positive. People don't seem to realize that, first off, if you have a job or you want to find a job or whatever, people look at social media now. So if they see that you're a negative person, they're going to steer away from it. And some people say, well, it's my profile. I can say whatever I want. Yeah, you can. You can say whatever you want. It's fine. Although I got in trouble for saying something. I don't say things that are controversial. But I made a post about being hired for a job I was supposed to do tomorrow, Saturday, and everybody was thanking me and saying congratulations, let me know how it works, and all these people I don't even know are saying, hey, let me know how it works. So there's apparently people following me that I don't know. There's a lot of people following me that I don't know, and I see their name and I'm like, oh, well, they're not even close to me. I don't even know but it doesn't matter. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that I made this post, and as people were congratulating me, I got an email saying, we decided to go a different direction. We're going to hire somebody else. And I'm like, why? And they said, well, because you have to drive 3 hours. I said, I just drove 6 hours to be in a commercial, and that's not an issue with me. I'll drive where I got to drive to get what I got to do, Anyway, so I lost the job, and I posted that. Looks like I lost the job, and somebody said something, and I said, yeah, those crazy Americans. I'm American. I can say those crazy Americans. It's not racist for me to say those crazy Americans. A box pops up from Facebook saying, this violates our standards because you're making angry comments against Americans. It was a joke. It was a joke. I'm an American. You missed the whole joke.
That's crazy. That's insane. That was Facebook?
That was Facebook, and that happened just yesterday or the day before. It was funny.
That's crazy. Yeah, I know Facebook has been. It's insane. Facebook has been like censoring a lot of stuff. From what I'm hearing, I don't know.
It's stupid. I've never been censored before from them, but my point was that these people that don't seem to understand that most of the people that are your friends on Facebook, you never met.
Yeah.
And most of these people, the only image they have is what you post on your Facebook. So much like Facebook couldn't understand why I would be talking about crazy Americans, a lot of people don't understand when you're saying, like, I hate the worst posts in the world are people that post things that you gotta guess what the reason is. Like,
I know.
I hate this, I give up. That's it. That's all they post. Well, why didn't you give up before you did the post? Because you know that's gonna people are gonna say, what's wrong? I hate that.
One thing a lot of people do is they like to express their feelings to like random strangers.
Yes.
And I'm like, why do you care? Why don't you just talk to people who are your friends about them? Why do you have to like show the world all your business out there?
Right.
You don't have to do that. But some people just like the attention, and okay, nothing wrong with that. But
just stupid. It drives me crazy.
It's just insane, you know. And one thing I always say is like that you will never get off of social media and say, I feel so alive.
Right.
No one ever says that. It's like sometimes, you know, you're happy and then you see social media and you're like depressed. It's like you're just like in a bad mood. Cause it's like there's times where, like I don't delete my my accounts, but I delete the app because I'm like I need a break from this. I need a break from social. I need a break from Instagram. I need a break from Facebook. Sometimes I just delete it for like a week and just and just relax because sometimes it's just mentally just you look at it, it's like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do this right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't know. I just use my stuff for for all the activities I'm in, but people don't need to know what's going on in my life. My life's going on good, but you know, there's another actor guy, well, I use that term loosely, actor guy from Harrisburg area where I live, and the guy it cracks me up. Every once in a while he pops in saying, how's it going? I said, it's going good. And he goes, you know, what are you working on? I tell him what I'm working on. And I say, now this is 8 months in. We're talking, this is just last month. He sends me a message asking me how everything's going. And I told him that I'm doing what I'm doing. And I had all kinds of jobs last month. I was crazy busy. And I said, so what do you got going? Oh, I got some auditions. I said, well, how many jobs did you have this year? 0. 8 months and 0? And you're calling yourself an actor? You haven't worked. And last year he didn't work because of the actor strike. I said, are you even SAG-AFTRA? He said, no, I'm just trying to support him. I said, if you're not union, why are you supporting the union? Why aren't you working? I worked 4 jobs last year. And he was supporting well, good. I'll bet you they're not supporting you.
Yeah.
So he has an excuse for not working because he doesn't want to break the strike line, you know. And I'm in the busy business. I like to be busy, but you know, if you want to call yourself an actor, how about if you do some acting? You know, don't call yourself an actor if you're not going to act. If you're not going to pursue. How many auditions? I do 6 to 8 auditions a week. I did 10 this past week. And you know, he goes, "Why have an audition this week?" Oh, just one. You know, if you're an actor, you better be doing more than that because you're going to lose more jobs than you're going to gain. And I get lucky every once in a while, and I you know, coming from a guy that worked 30 years every day, when I work only, like in March, I hadn't had any jobs in the year so far. And I was panicking. I was like, oh, my career's over. I can't find any jobs. And then they start really rolling in after March. I'm finding that seems to be the way it goes. But you know, here I am thinking, oh man, I've only done 4 jobs last year. I'm horrible at this.
Oh, wow.
But that's not true because actors don't do a job every week, don't do a job every day, don't go to the office every day. So I'm used to working, and here he can't find or I'll get something. I'll post that I got a job here, and the first person that reacts is always him. Can you get me on it? No, it don't work like that. I don't have any clout. And if I did, if I did, I probably wouldn't hire him anyway because he doesn't seem motivated. You know, but every post he says, "I'm going to be." The last post I thought was funny. He goes, "I'm an actor and I'm the greatest," or something like that. And I'm thinking, wow, how could you be so good? You're not acting. And but he goes, "My whole life is acting. My whole life is movies, and I'm gonna be in movies." And he's got all these like crazy things. If you're gonna be in movies, how about you get in one?
Well, of course.
But you know, the thing is, you're one thing that he's around your age group, by the way. One thing that I see in you is that you just don't talk the talk. You're walking the walk, and that's important in anybody. If you're going to do something, don't talk about it. Just you don't even have to tell me you're going to do it. Just do it. That's,
of course.
You know,
action speaks louder than words.
Yes.
It's like you really want to do something, like get motivated, be disciplined. It's
Yeah.
like, because my thing is like, if you're motivated by, so motivation is really not going to get you anywhere.
No.
Discipline.
Yes.
Discipline. Of course. And so if you're just driven by motivation, it's like, let's say whenever you don't feel like doing anything.
Right. And the other thing that you talk about with motivation is what is motivating? What does motivate you? Well, if you're motivated by money, for instance, forget about acting. You know,
Yeah.
If you're motivated by money, forget about spiritual work. You're not going to make a ton of money at spiritual work. You're going to, you've got to want to do this, not for the money. I've never was in wrestling. I didn't make a lot of money. I did it because I wanted to do it. All my life, I wanted to be in wrestling. All my life, I wanted to be in music. All my life, I wanted to be, well, all my life, I didn't want to be in radio, but I ended up in radio. The things that you're doing, you have to have a passion for. And what my point is this guy makes a big deal that he I never had to tell somebody, I'm great. Why would you tell somebody that? That's going to make you come off as egocentrical, first off. And, I mean, I did say I was great when I was in wrestling because that was my job. I was supposed to make people believe I was great. But did I believe I was great? No, not really. I did it because I loved the business. But you seem to have the right idea, the right thing about, you're not in it for the money. When I asked you about being the minister part, you said, why don't you do it for the money? That's the right answer. And not that I quizzed you, but that is the right answer. You don't do it for the money. It's something you're passionate about. And passion is a lost art, a lost thing. People don't get passionate about things or the right things. They might be passionate about politics, but they don't know what's going on in politics. I see that all the time. If you're talking about the presidential I'm not going to talk about the presidential thing because I'm not really into politics, but someone will talk about they're either pro this or pro that, and there is no in between. Well, that's not the way life works. It's not either or. There's a lot of mixtures. There's a lot of we were talking about that with religions, right? Said everybody has something right, but people that are hard and set that this is the only answer. That's not true necessarily. So
you got to study. You really got to find out things out for yourself.
And that's the exact thing is that people said, I heard this, I heard that, and they make their judgments on that heard. Why? No, that's not, because anybody can lie to you. It's when you actually know what it is, what the facts are. And that's what people need to do is learn the real facts, whether it be politics, religion, whatever it is, your daily job, your, whatever it is. People don't seem to go on facts as much as they do hearsay. My friend said, and the thing is, you seem to have your act together a lot more now, and you seem to have a clear vision of where you're going or what you're going to do. That's a very good thing. That's especially at your age. I don't think I was floundering until I was probably my first marriage, when that ended, that's when I started finding myself. I was probably 31. That's not too much different from you,
No,
but
that's it, man.
you know, a lot of people now in their 30s and 40s, they're just not there. They just don't have any guidance. They don't know where they're going. They don't know their direction. And I really think that it's good that you do have an idea what you're doing, have an idea what you want out of life. You know, if you could look at yourself, say let's say 16. If you could tell yourself at 16 right now, if you could talk to yourself at 16, what would you tell yourself?
Comparison is something that could. Well, yeah, don't compare yourself.
Right.
That's my biggest issue. At sometimes, you know, like I see people where they are at, like, you know, at their stage in life, and I'm like, I want to be there. You know, and it's fine to have, you know, let's say heroes and like people to motivate you, but when you compare yourself and then you feel down, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So I would just say, watch who you compare yourself to, and just work, you know, harder to be the person that you really want to be.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically because I mean, you know, let's say, you know, you say that I have, you know, that I know what I want in my life, and I do what I know what I want in my life. But do I hit roadblocks here and there? Yeah,
we all do.
Yeah,
we all do.
You're always gonna hit roadblocks. You're always gonna hit stuff that's gonna make you want to quit. But that's when you really have to learn how to remind yourself that remind yourself what you really want to get out of life.
Yeah, it's true. And actually, when I was younger, up until probably the mid '90s, everybody would tell me, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go to school at 16, you can't be a musician. My own family told me that, and every time they told me that, it motivated me to prove them wrong. Every time someone said, you can't go to college at 16, guess what? I went to college at 16, and my parents didn't pay for it. I paid for it through hard work. When they said, you can't be a musician because you're not good enough. I've been a musician for 40 years. No one's going to tell me I can't be a musician. They said I can't get in wrestling at 40. I got in wrestling at 40. They said you can't. You have a radio show? Yeah, I have a radio show. You know, every time someone tells me I can't, that used to motivate me to do it. That was up until recently. That was up until about 3 years ago. People stopped saying you can't do this. And my new friends said, congratulations, you can do this, you can do this. And all my friends in acting have been so motivational for me because they applaud everything I do. And that really does make a difference to do it out of love rather than hate. You know, I spent most of my life doing things by motivation of negativity. Because you can't do this. I always did it. But now I'm doing this because I can do it and I love doing it. And I don't have any hatred. I don't have any anger that's motivating me to do it. And that's an important thing. If you live out of hate or live out of love, you can probably achieve the same things, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same as doing it out of love.
Yeah, because you'll be doing it basically just to, like, impress people.
Yeah. Or I showed you. I told you so.
Showed you.
Yeah.
And it's never a good way to
But the majority of my life is I told you so. And the last couple years have been because I wanted to do it and I don't care what you think. And a lot of the people that follow me and my friends from acting and all that stuff have been very positive. And my girlfriend has been awesome at it. She's just, she's been so much a positive influence on me. And she doesn't realize how much she does for me because, you know, we don't ever talk about it, but she really does motivate me because I know that she doesn't mind me doing it. It's not I'm doing it just to show you.
Yeah.
I'm doing it to show you. It's a difference.
It's always good to have the right people in your corner.
Yes.
Always good.
And the same. Do you feel your team around you is powerful? You think that they motivate you?
Of course. And listen, I don't have a lot of people that say, that I have in my corner. I have usually smaller is better.
Yep.
So, like I said, I have my girlfriend and Bobby.
You got me too. You got me now.
And there you go. Of course. Now I added another one.
That's right.
I got 3 people now, and my thing is, and that's usually better. Cause when you have too many people in your corner, you get too many opinions and there's too much confusion, and there's some people that may be there just to help you, or maybe they're just to get something out of it. But
the people
sometimes,
the people I have in my corner are kind of like, okay, I don't get it, but hey, go do it. That's the kind of people I have in my corner now. I have some people that say, hey, I like that idea, but there's a lot of people that it's kind of neat to have the positive reinforcement of people that don't criticize everything you do, but support you. And that to me is very important. That's the best part of my life now, is that I have those people.
Well, of course, and it's always good to also not have like how do I say, it's like a yes man all the time. You need someone who will tell you no.
Yes, I have
will
that.
Tell you when you're doing wrong, or that's I feel that's a great blessing as well.
Yes,
because there's some people that will say go do it when they know you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's a blessing.
Yeah,
that's a blessing.
I think you've got a pretty good head on your shoulders, and I think that it's important that you keep going down that road. It sounds like you're doing really well. I think I really feel good about what you were talking about, and how you've gone from one to another way. Let's see here. But well, anyway, I got to be careful how I say this, but Bobby will probably kill me for saying this. But we spoke a couple months ago about you, and he told me that you had some unexpected blessings in your life, and I didn't get any details. I don't know what that exactly means, but he spoke extremely high of you. Said something about you got him out of the cave and gave him a second chance, and from him, that's a big thing. I mean, I've known him for a long time, and I don't hear him speaking like that about too many people.
Yeah, I mean, him and I are a team, let's say, and let's say he was down for a bit, but I can say that God put me in his life, and like God put him in my life, and God put me in his life, to really just help each other. So he was in a bit of a funk, like we all are. But with him, he needed like a motivator. He needed someone to just really just motivate him, and not See, one thing about me is I come off very abrasive sometimes, because I truly believe sometimes that you don't need someone that'll cuddle you.
Right. Yep.
All the time. You need someone who tell you, no, you're doing wrong. Come on, get out there. Come on, man. Like don't give in to that. So that's my thing. I always tell people, like, listen, I'm not gonna cuddle you. I'm not the type of person. I don't cuddle people. I don't do that. No, I tell you, listen, get up, and we're doing this right now. We're doing this. I've helped him a lot with that. And same thing, him with me too. It's like he really just, spiritually, he's my mentor, let's say. He's showed me everything that has to do with ministry. He showed me everything that he's taught me a lot, Like me just saying a lot, it's like basically nothing, basically, when I say it, but he's showed me an insane amount that no word can say, because, he was in a little bit of a funk when I first met him, and, I first started out by just, just always telling him, hey man, let's go out, let's do something, let's get you out of that funk, and and that little by little, that kind of like helped him, just get out of that funk. It's something you just need. It's a process. It's all a process.
How long have you known? How long have you known Bobby?
7 years.
Wow.
7 years. 7 years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Me and him went to Charlotte together to preach. South Carolina. But let me tell you, it was a tiring trip.
Yes.
It was.
I'm going to drive down to Atlanta when I go there for the end of the month. So, yeah, I totally get it. I drove to Miami last year, and I drove to Orlando last year too. So those were long. The Miami one, I thought, okay, that was a little too far, because
that's a long trip.
That's a long trip. But yeah, that's it's crazy. But I love Bobby like a brother. So he's one of a kind guy, and we've had some deep, dark discussions and some very interesting discussions. And he's the kind of guy that I may not talk to for 2 or 3 years, and then I'll call him and then we'll talk and like we never missed a step.
Of course. Yeah, that's how it.
Mm-hmm. But you dedicated a lot of your time to helping others, like feeding the homeless. And sharing the story with. Could you share the story about that, or?
So, me and my friends decided that we wanted to, how the 24th, a lot of people, 24th of December, people, celebrate, at night, have dinner. It's a Latin tradition, but I know other people do it. But I decided to sacrifice that and take a few friends of mine and go into New York City and just give out clothes to the homeless.
Okay.
Most people use it as family time. I use it as just, hey, there's people suffering out there.
Yeah.
And go out there and make a difference. It's something that I did that for a few years, and it's always a blessing, because there's people that struggle a lot just living out in the cold like that, and it's like you get to pray for people, you get to really just talk to people about them, and you get to know their story, like what ended up happening that brought you to this place, what ended up happening, this and that. And sometimes you leave there just feeling grateful for what you have, and not, for what, basically you feel gratitude because, sure, I may be struggling in certain situations, but I'm not where they are,
right.
where they have it worse than me.
Right. Did you have, when you went through your depressions, did you have suicidal issues, or?
Thank God, no.
Okay.
Thank God.
That's good. I did for a short period of time. When my wife died, I was going through a lot. That was the worst time of my life. And but can you speak about? Let's talk about suicide a little bit. Can you address that? Can you, what are your how do you help people like that have suicidal thoughts?
So my thing with that is, a lot of people, have those thoughts maybe because maybe they feel like they're neglected by their parents, or maybe they were bullied as a kid, and I just let them know that I'm there, that God's there, that no matter, that you're not dealing with this alone. But sometimes that they feel like they're all alone in this world. They feel like they have nothing more to give, and I want to show them that that no matter how broken you are in your life, you have a God that just that died for you. And no matter how broken you are in your life, there's always you're never too far back that where God can just rescue you out of that mess that you're in. And so I want to show them that I want them to live. I want them to just I want to hear more about them. I want to hear what got you into this place, and just know that that there's more for you. There's absolutely more for you. Okay. And I feel bad when people are in this situation, because it's gotten to the point where they feel so just down on their luck, and just feel like they're not wanted in the world, and that's the complete opposite.
I felt that way a few times, but because my wife and I we did everything together. You know, we hung out together. We were each
Yeah.
other's best friend, and she went through a 12-year period of time of being very, very ill, and I watched her little by little fall into depression. She changed from the person she was to a totally different person, and I got to watch her die, and it was just, that was the hardest thing I could do, uh, and it just took a lot out of me, um, and because I'm like you, I don't have a lot of close friends, and I didn't want to reach out to anybody. I didn't talk to anybody for a year after she died. I didn't talk to people at work. Didn't know I had a death. The only people at work that knew were my boss and my supervisor, because I didn't talk about it the whole time I was there. So suicide is a very scary thing. And the first time in my life I decided to start drinking, I decided I was going to be an alcoholic. That didn't last very long. It lasted like 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
And I still have some of the beer and stuff left in my house as a reminder that this is not for me. This is not my situation. So it took a long time for me to come to terms with things. And once I forgave myself for what was going on, I was able to go forward and become back to a normal person. It was the toughest time of my life, and I would never ever want to put that on anybody, because that's just a horrible thing. We see a lot of failure in the church world. Lots of ministers have had their share of horror stories. Can you ever see yourself returning to your previous life?
No, because one thing about it is like, so one main thing I believe that sometimes that people get saved and then they return to their old life because their foundation is not strong, their roots are not strong. I'm going to tell you, this is not me bragging about myself, but my roots are, I'm very rooted in God. It's something that I know what's true. I know what God did for me. And, sure, there are times where, like, I'll be honest, I may fall, and I have. You're always going to have failures. You're always going to fall here and there. But my thing is not to make it a lifestyle.
Okay.
Thing. And the thing with that is, I don't believe, and I know that that I'll never go back to my life. Maybe maybe I'll start feeling maybe like a little bit like maybe in the future I may deal with like maybe some anxious thoughts, depressive thoughts. But do I see myself going back? No, I do not. I do not, and I pray to God for that. That I don't, because that lifestyle really does ruin you in such a way, because your motivation is basically drinking and just like and the approval of people. And when you seek people's approval your whole life, it's just that's your gift, approval. But it just becomes an addiction at that point. Like you cannot be happy without people approving you.
Okay, that's so interesting. What did you have a solid foundation with your family? Did you have a good relationship with your mom and dad? And was that shaky at one point? What is it today? Where was it and where is it?
So with my mom, I did have a good relationship. With my dad, at first, no. We would argue a lot. It wasn't the best. Because obviously, his childhood, it wasn't the best either. So a lot of the times, what parents do is they learn from their parents. They, for example, my grandfather was not the best parent. He basically, abused his wife. Cheated on her. Did a lot of stuff with that. So my dad just grew up just watching that. And so when it came down to that, he obviously he just didn't know how to really parent the right way. So, and now he's great.
Okay.
He's great.
That's
but
good.
that's because God did a work in him, but it's something that he had to work on. God had to work on, and we all had to be patient. But right now, it's like we have a great relationship with him.
What kind of business was he in?
Currently,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the tire business. So
Oh yeah, you told me that. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he owns a tire shop, but he also exports tires to Central America, the Caribbean, the U.S. So he like those 18-wheelers full of tires. He exports. But
You could send me
doesn't have a tire.
send me an 18-wheeler full of Tesla tires. I'd be
All
happy.
right. There you go. I'll give you a good deal on them.
What's one of the most important things that Bobby taught you? You were talking about Bobby a while ago.
So I would say, how do I say this? You really threw a curveball.
Well,
at me there.
that's what I'm here for. I'm here to.
Yeah,
this is
of course.
hard journalism here. We gotta break
Yeah.
you of whatever it is that we gotta break you of.
Yeah.
We're gonna expose you for everything you are.
Man, there you go.
That's not me.
So,
I'm more like I'm not 60 Minutes. I'm more like Entertainment Tonight. So.
So I would say the biggest lesson that he's taught me is don't be afraid to show your emotions.
Okay.
And the sense is it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
It's okay. But one thing about it is obviously he's not telling me to like tell the whole world like I'm not okay, but like whenever someone like close to you asks you, "Hey, you doing good?" It's okay to say no, man. I'm struggling. It's don't hide behind a mask.
Okay.
Don't. But to certain people, show.
I'm like that. I'm a lot like that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not trusting of a lot of people. So I don't want to tell you unless you're in my really close inner circle. You won't know what's going on with me because I don't share that stuff.
Of course, and of course, I'm not saying don't trust in anyone, but at the same time, you gotta be cautious who you tell your stuff.
Yes.
Your business.
Yes.
You really do.
Unlike social media, where you tell the world, I give up.
Yeah, that's one thing you'll never see me do. Is just
You'll never see me do it.
And write that I'm depressed. That's not me. I don't like attention. That's one thing about me. I don't like attention.
I don't like negative attention. I don't mind.
Yeah.
If I don't mind someone saying, "Hey, you're doing a good job," or keep me posted, or things like that. But people that thrive on the negativity, I can't. I have a hard time dealing with. I try to make the world a better place and not make people. I don't try to make people think about. I don't even try to make people think about me. If they want to think about me, that's fine. But I don't try to stand out like that. I kind of when people think of me, I want them to think of me in a good light because I think I do some good things. So, I kind of think it's my belief is that I wake up every day and my goal is to leave this world in a better place than I did when I woke up. And I don't try to do. I did some bad things in my time, and my biggest thing is that I want to be a better person. I want to be a better person tomorrow than I was today, and so on. Because the best thing that any of us can do is leave a good impression. Let people, when they think of you, it's really cool if they think of you in a positive light, not like O.J. Simpson. Did he do it? Well, you're thinking, oh, he probably did, or he may not have, but I don't want that. I want people to think of something good about me when they think about me. So I think that's what we all should be doing. We should be trying to make this world a little bit better if we can do that.
Yeah, be an example.
Yeah.
So, of course. That's always should be the goal, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. I am pretty much out of questions. If you got any, do you got any final thoughts?
No, I just want to say, thank you for the interview just bringing me on the show. It's a pleasure, and it really is.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. That was this is kind of fun because like I said, I haven't interviewed anybody in quite a while because I've been doing current events for a while, and I told Bobby, it'd be good to have an interview again because I used to be the interview king. I mean, I had Hogan. I had Hogan on my show. Hulk Hogan on my show twice. I had Bret Hart. I had some of the greatest wrestlers you will ever see on my show, and I had a reputation for getting people that you couldn't get. Who would have thought that I had Hogan? Hogan of all people. People would say to me, "Oh, I bet you paid $50,000 to have him on my show." I paid zero.
And Hogan is a hard person to get. Oh, and you have to go. I don't know what you have. I think you have to go through his lawyer. Or something
I didn't have to do any of that. I did. I didn't have to do any of that. That was just. I had ways to get people that you would never ever figure it out. They were like, "How'd you get that guy?" I'm me. But I appreciate you coming on, and it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to meet you in the future.
Of course, definitely.
I'll let you cook for me.
All right. I'll cook you a good steak dinner.
You never turn down a steak. That's a good thing.
Of course.
So, but I appreciate what you've been through, and it sounds like you've been through a lot. But it makes a stronger person out of you. That's what I can say about that. I've gone through my fair share of stuff that it seems crappy at the time, but it all has a reason. And hold on, I didn't mean to hit that already. I just tried to get it up here. But you seem to have your head on straight, and I really I want to commend you for it. And
thank you.
I hope you have a great time on your vacation. I'm jealous as anything. And
I'll try.
Really, it was a pleasure being on your show. Or it was a pleasure being on my show. No, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure having you on my show. And
thank you. Thank you for really having me. Really, it was really a pleasure for me too.
All right. Well, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know, and we'll let it go with that.
All right.
So I appreciate your time, and why is that doing that? It shouldn't do that. Why is that doing that? Okay, did that. I don't know why it did that. Oh yeah, that's why it did that. Okay. Whew. I thought my computer was doing something weird again.
Okay.
So anyway, I will let you go and talk to you later on then.
All right. See you soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Let's see here.